It's just so much fun hearing from everyone and hearing all that you're so passionate about. I love that. And networking is such a big component, especially for women, I think, because that's what we do. We reach out, we see how we can help each other, and that's the best part of, for me, of networking. But I do know that people will come to me and say, I'm not getting anything from my networking. And the first question I ask them always is, well, what is your goal? And if their goal is, I just want a friend, that's fine. And knowing that goal is really important because they can come to a networking event like this or any other networking event, maybe if we ever get back in person, and they can look for that person that they feel really comfortable with, that they can maybe have a cup of coffee, maybe a couple beers after work, whatever, and they will have that friend. And you're probably sitting there thinking, who would ever need that? But I can tell you a quick story about that. Many years ago, I was in Findlay, which is south of where I live in the Toledo area, for a chamber morning event, a coffee. And at that chamber, they have various people in the community delivering small pieces of information. Kathy Khrushchev delivered a small piece of information that morning that I was there, and I was so impressed with her. And so I reached out to her and said, I would love to sit down and chat. Now I found out that Kathy is the president of the Hancock County Findlay Community Foundation. And so we met, we chatted, and I found out that you have to have $10,000 in order to be able to open an account with a community foundation. And I said, you know what, Kathy, I don't have $10,000. I have no idea how I can help you. And she looked at me and she said, are you aware I'm new to the community? And I'm like, no. She said, I've been here 2 months. I need a friend. So here was this very powerful woman who I was feeling very small about because I thought, look at her, she's way up there. And basically, we needed the same thing, which was a connection. And so don't poo poo the social idea. We all need friends, and friends turn into other things also. Another goal might be that you want referrals, because isn't that why we're in business and we want more business? And the best way to get it, of course, is to get it by referral, especially if you're in one of those industries so for example, financial planning is one of the industries that's really represented by quite a few of you today. If you're not getting referrals, it's going to be a hard road that you're going to be looking at going down that road. And so we want to think about, who is it that I am really going after? Who's your target market? And if you say anyone that breathes is your target market, guess what? Emily, you're right. That is not a target market. Now, those of you who are going after business to business, you might say any small business. Well, guess what? That is 95% of the world. Thank you, Liz. And I can't tell you how many times I am in a networking meeting like this where people will say, any small business person is my target. Well, we need to narrow it down a little bit more. So that's a whole nother conversation, and I'd be happy to do a one-to-one or a Zoom call to chat about that. But knowing who you're going after and being as specific as you possibly can will really help you. And for the job looker afters, by the way, those of you who are looking for a job, know exactly the type of person that you want to talk to, because if you know, then we can help you when you're asking for that. So knowing who we're going after is really important, because then we can determine who can help us. And one of the mistakes that I see happening in the referral world a lot is that I decide that I'm going to collaborate with someone and hopefully send referrals back and forth to each other because we're friends. Well, guess what? Probably 9 times out of 10, that doesn't work, because you have to have certain attributes in order to have a strong referral partner. And I'm going to share my screen right now, because I want you to be thinking about what would be the attributes that you would really want to make sure that you have in someone that you would work with to share referrals back and forth. And why don't you put some of those into the chat box, just a couple words. of what you think would be the best attribute of a really great referral partner. So let's see what you might add.
To know what
So Nancy Lauren says integrity.
as a
I know it's hard to spell. Open-minded from Connie.
put in a lender's
Commitment from Elizabeth. Connected from Debbie. All the C's. Honesty from Elizabeth also. Knowing my business.
and
Well-connected. Trustworthy. Consistent. Outgoing. These are all great. Wonderful ones. Build trust. Okay. So I am going to share a screen with you of 10 attributes. And I am going to ask whoever is managing the technology behind the scenes, Liz, thank you. I would like to have all of you go into breakout rooms of just 2. So you're just going to have one other person in your breakout room. And I'm going to talk while Liz is getting that ready. Liz, you're talking to me, but
I was going to say, now you're challenging me, girlfriend. Is Yolanda still hanging around? Because I don't know. If
I got it.
Got it. Thank you,
Got
dear.
it.
Thank you, Yolanda. I wasn't sure that Yolanda was back, so sorry to make your heart beat a little bit faster, Liz. Yolanda, will you tell me when you're ready?
It's all good.
You're ready?
So how many rooms you need? No.
How many people
We
do
have it. We need 17 rooms. We have 33 participants. We need 17 rooms if she wants to do 2 people in a room, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I prefer not to be in a room if that's possible. So maybe you can put 3 people in one room.
Okay.
So you tell me when you're ready, and then I'll give you the rest of the instructions. I know you won't have this in front of you, so I am right now, I'm going to put this list, maybe I'm going to put this list into the chat box. You know what, I might have to stop my share for a second to put in.
I was going to say, put it back in. I was going to type it in for you.
Oops. I have to, evidently it left me. 1 second here, let me get it again. All right, I'm gonna put it into the chat box so you have it in front of you when you're in your breakout rooms. But now I'm gonna share my screen again. So here are the instructions. When you go into your breakout room with your partner, I want you to select the ones out of these that are listed that absolutely have to be there in order to have a reliable referral partner. Absolutely, set in stone, black and white, no if, and, or but. And you also have to justify why you chose that one. And Yolanda, how many minutes did you put them in for?
Well, it says 30, but I can always change.
It says 30 minutes?
Yeah.
No, do 5.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna have 5 minutes to do this. If you get done and you think you're done, you can always leave the room and come back to the big room. I'll be waiting for you, but we'll give you 5 minutes to chat over it. And remember, you have to be able to justify it. So go ahead and join. And for some reason, I'm going into breakout room 1, so we may
Breakout room
adjust.
is you and
You
me.
know what? I think it's not doing random. Hold on. I'm going to have to.
I don't see it in the chat, so I'm retyping it in. BT dubs.
You'll see it when you go in. You should be able to see it when you go into the breakout room.
Oh.
Hopefully. So you can be thinking about this right now as you read through the list. Which ones would you want absolutely to have with your referral partner in order to make this work? All right, so it looks like everyone can join their room now, and we'll see you back in about 5 minutes.
Great.
Hi, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be.
I don't know what happened, but I'm back here.
Back here too.
So why don't you go ahead and talk, because there's no one else here except for Yolanda, and I think she's handling something at the store. And I'm going to step away for just a second. So why don't the two of you go ahead and speak? I won't listen to you.
I got knocked around. We got knocked in and out of rooms, right?
Hey, we found each other. Who cares?
Yes, yes. Tell me what you do.
Oh, I'm an attorney,
Oh, what kind of attorney?
labor employment.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to note that. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
You're a busy lady.
Yeah, with COVID and all.
With COVID, everybody doesn't want to be in their relationships anymore.
Everyone's stuck at home, locked in.
Everybody's like, oh, do I have to see you again today?
You must be busy too.
If anyone wants to.
Anybody else have something else, you can please unmute yourself and jump in.
They know and have relationships with your targets, because talking to somebody that wants to help, if they don't have those connections with people and relationships, it doesn't matter. We need to focus them down to what we want, even though it's a win-win for both people.
So Nancy, what does that mean? They have relationships with your targets. What does that really mean?
That they have relationships where they talk to them, they trust them. I want them to be able to refer somebody that trusts them and trusts me. I want to build and establish that trust with them.
Okay, so I agree that one needs to be there, but that's not the exact definition of what I'm looking for. So they know and have relationships. Let's pretend they know and have relationships with my targets. So you could change the your to my
Right,
target.
that's what I was gonna say.
How would someone know who I'm going after
Right.
automatically without even, talking with me? How would they
Right.
know who my targets are?
They wouldn't know. That's why meeting with them and sitting down with them and talking to them and saying,
Well,
hey, this is what I'm looking for. What are you
actually-
looking for?
Actually, Nancy, there is a way that they would know my targets. Can anyone else jump in of how someone would know my targets
Yours,
We have to educate them.
without me even talking to them?
Because
They're
they're
a
already one
competitor?
of your clients.
Because what?
They're one of your clients and they know exactly what you do.
That
What if they're a
could be, but
competitor?
They're walking, talking billboards.
They
Well,
understand your business.
I would say that if they know the title of your business and they know what you do, if you're like health and wellness, I'm really easy to refer if you know what I do,
Okay,
just
so,
by how I identify myself.
all right,
to people.
let's make this easy. They also have the same targets that I do, but they're not competition.
Mm. Mhm.
So they don't need to talk to me because they already know who those targets are, because they're their targets also. And so obviously having a relationship with targets that we're both going after at the same time makes it a lot easier. Okay, Liz, who else should we call on?
I am going to say Emily Spada Kelly, because you guys look like you were having an interesting discussion in your chat room.
All right, Emily, what do you think?
Really?
Really?
We were talking about COVID.
But you connected, I thought. Weren't you and Bonnie in the same chat room?
We were, but we weren't talking about this yet. At least I'm honest.
There's that.
I would think that they have to have the resources to help.
All right, so tell
I
me
think
what
that
you
would
think
be
that
pretty
is.
important.
Emily, what would resources be?
They have the connections with people and companies. They have the background and experience that is needed for whatever your needs are, and that they are connected themselves. So I think that all comes into resources.
Okay, so you kind of nudged into it a little bit, but they're, and believe me, it took me about 3 years of teaching this course to really finally arrive at what resources meant. And for me, it's like a three-legged stool. And the first leg is financial. And I used to say that it was optional, but that was before coffee started costing $5. So if someone is going to be out there working to meet people on your behalf, obviously they've got to have $5 in their pocket to be able to buy somebody else that cup of coffee or whatever it is, or the event that they're going to go to. So financial is one leg of the three-legged stool. Information is the other, and that's the person that they know everyone. They have the Rolodex that's as huge as one of the Ferris wheels at either Myrtle Beach or Chicago Pier. And for those youngins who are on the call today, if you don't know what a Rolodex is, connect with someone that looks a little older in the pictures today. Yeah, me or anyone that's shaking their head yes, and they'll share with you what a Rolodex is. But this is the person that if you need a phone number or a name or whatever, you go to them because they have it.
Yes.
And then the last leg is what I call the mom leg, and that's the support network. So if this person has promised that they're going to take you to an event tonight, and they're going to introduce you to that person that you have absolutely been trying to meet for 3 years, and you are so excited, and your partner gets a call, or your teammate, whatever you want to call it, they get a call that the cat has to go to the vet. And they have someone else that can step in and take the cat while they still keep their commitment to you. So that's what resources is, as far as I'm concerned, is financial, information, and support. So good job, Emily. It needs to be there. Okay, Liz, who else should we call on?
Oh, Gail Schwartz.
Okay, Gail Schwartz, what do you think? Are there any others that need to be there? She may be
Unmuted.
muted.
Are you muted, Gail?
There, I was trying to find me. I was on speaker view and looking at her list. So if I really could just remember what everybody else said, but we were just chatting, a few of us are Rotarians, by the way. And Rotarians, as you saw, if you looked at the chat, the motto is service above self. So it's somebody that has that giving attitude and heart and personality that would be very willing.
Okay, so they want to help. We've had that one already, Gail.
Oh,
We had resources, and we had the one that
So
they
give
have
me
targets.
give me one.
So you give me one. I'm in charge.
I think
Somebody
they have to
give
make
me
you look
one.
good if you refer them.
I'm
Sorry, say that again.
They have to make you look good if you're going to refer them.
Okay, talk to me about that.
Well, I mean, they have to have you, I feel a lot of times they have to use your services. I'm an easy referral in my opinion, because once people use me and work with me, they always make me look good. You don't want somebody who's going to say, well, I've never done anything with this person, but I know they're a really good person. That's not
Okay.
going to give you any credibility when referring to somebody else. They have
Okay.
to have used your services in some way. So they have to know or know people that have used your services who've heard talk about how you do what you do.
So they may not necessarily have to always use your services in order for them to refer you, but they have to feel comfortable that if they refer you into their parents, their best client, whoever that is, that you are going to make them look like a hero, that you are not going to have egg on your face because they've screwed it up. You don't want
should
that.
call on Nancy Emmerman next.
I can call on Nancy next.
Yeah.
Okay, so just so we know, they want to help, they have the resources, they have the relationships, and now we know that they have to make you look good when you refer them, because of course, in a partnership, we have to refer back and forth. If you're only looking for people to refer to you and not thinking how you can give back, probably the gravy train is going to slow down and stop at some point. Okay, so Nancy is next. Is that what you said, Liz?
That was
I
it.
didn't know, but I'm okay with that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Unmute.
Nancy, you there?
I have been a member of networking groups, and it is a very strong way to get referrals and give referrals. I think if you give referrals, you will always get referrals. I created a networking group many years ago that was for seniors,
He created it.
to help seniors. Did you help me create it?
Hello, Nancy.
Okay. And we brought in people from visiting nurses and home instead, and just, we had Gail and I was the realtor, and
And Ed was the attorney.
Ed was
and
the attorney.
We had
and-
a whole group just
Yes,
to help seniors, and
and we
Okay.
put out information once a quarter.
throw
Okay.
a question at her.
Do that.
All right, so so you think that one, the first one needs to be there in order to have a reliable referral partner? Is that what you're saying?
I think that if you've been in them over the years, you're going to get referrals through the years, even if you're not in that anymore.
Okay, but I'm talking about one person who would be a strong referral partner. So let me ask you.
In a
if you have-
networking group,
No, not,
like-
just one person who
Oh,
you've teamed up
for
with.
me, a lender.
Okay, so let's pretend that lender is not a member of a networking or a referral group.
Okay,
And that lender is giving you 2 or 3 referrals a week. Would you kick him or her to the curb?
I don't think so.
Right. So you heard in my introduction that I am a 25+ year member of BNI. I am a huge believer in networking and referral groups. However, if your referral partner, someone that's, for whatever reason, is not able to belong to one of those groups, would you kick them to the curb?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay. Remember, I said this has to be set in concrete, black and white. So no if, and, or but. So it would be a very nice one, but I don't think it has to be there in order to be having one individual who's working on your behalf all the time.
Mhm.
Okay? All
Yes.
right. Are there any others that you think need to be there?
Oh, Amy has a question.
Amy has a question. Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Barely.
Oh my God, what is going on?
Yeah, you want to maybe type it in the chat?
I was gonna say, type-
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
But now we just did.
Good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because other people are talking.
Oh, it's sporadic.
So,
Gary, just type it in the chat. I don't
So
know.
Type it
Debbie-
into the chat and then I'll answer it for you.
Debbie,
Well,
let me jump in, Debbie, and say this. You were talking about people that know and have relationship with your target market people. One thing I found over the years is sometimes people you think are your competition are actually good referral sources for
Yep.
you. So
they
for
can be,
example
they can
would
be-
be Debbie and I, we both do gifts, but she does a different kind of gift. So if people call me and they want soaps or, local products that we don't have at the wine shop, then she's a referral and I pass that on to her. I don't know if
yes.
it ever came to fruition, but I give them her name because I can't do it, but I know somebody who can.
So those are great referral opportunities. But what we're talking about is a referral partner that's way up here, not someone that you're going to get a referral from ever so often. This is someone that you're going to work with on a very regular basis. And so you're basically going to want to interview them to make sure that you're a fit for them and they're a fit for you, because you're going to work in a partnership, a collaborative partnership. So let's pretend that I sell noses to clowns and you sell those big shoes that clowns wear. Think about it. We can both work together on an all day, every day, all year basis, helping each other to become stronger. Now, if we don't have that same thing, or if because of competition, we can't refer to each other on a regular basis, that's probably not the referral partner that we're looking for.
Revealing today.
Okay, so there are a couple more that I will tell you. One is that they can be educated to help. That one has to be there. And here's what happens when your referral partner is not educated. you get an email or you get a piece of paper or you get a phone call from someone saying, hi, I understand that you can help me and you do this, which is not even close to what you do. And you think, don't they know? I've talked with them, we've had coffee, don't they understand? And the problem is it comes back to you because you haven't educated them as to exactly who it is you're going after. Remember that target market thing? Exactly who you're going after, what you want me to say on your behalf, and also how you want me to bring it to you. You don't just want a name, probably. You maybe want a personal introduction, or probably always want a personal introduction. So the education piece is the one that seems to trip a lot of people up because they think, you know, they know what I do. So someone looks like they have a question or sounds like it? Nope. Okay.
Hey, hold it.
Oh.
Amy, go ahead.
Okay, because that's
We can hear you.
exactly, and that was exactly what I was going to say. I was going to bring up that they either have to be experienced with a networking group and networking, or they need to be willing to be educated. Because I met someone at Win, thankfully she's not here, so I can refer to the situation. We said, let's connect, let's talk, let's network. We got together by Zoom. She spoke for an hour and 15 minutes. I finally interrupted her and I said, do you realize you never once asked about me? And she said, oh, I thought this was like a sales pitch. I didn't realize this was like back and forth. I said, that's what networking is. Networking is a sharing. It's a going back and forth. And she apologized, but I know she didn't learn anything from it. She just kind of acted like, oh, I don't know, I'm going to go on to my next sales pitch. So if she had been willing and open to hear that that is not the definition of networking, I think, you know, then it would be okay if she didn't have that experience, but
Yeah.
she wasn't.
That's something I should have said right at the beginning, that networking is not selling, in my book at least, at all. And I would feel the same way you do, Amy, when someone comes on really strong to me. And I actually will stop people. I'll actually do the rude thing of putting my hand up and say, you know what? I'm not a prospect for you because I'm happy with blah, blah, whatever. But why don't you slow down and let's get to know each other so that we can perhaps help each other in the future. And so that does break up the pattern. Another way that my son does it, who's much nicer than I am, he will ask, he'll say, so when they start selling, they're in a pattern that they've learned. He'll stop them by saying, tell me who you are going after so that I might be able to help you in the future. And by breaking their pattern, they really sit back and say, oh, I don't know. And so he helps them then to think that through.
But what was so sad about this was that I was actually interested in her product.
Yeah.
But boy, was that a turnoff.
Yes. Yeah, it is. So we want to make sure we don't do that. There is one more on here that we want to make sure that we have, and that is that they will have the time to work with you. And they may be the busiest person in the whole world, but they will set aside the time because probably you're going to meet on a regular basis with this level of referral partner. You're going to strategize on how you're going to help each other. You may be taking each other to networking events to make those introductions, but you've got to have the time. And actually, one of my clients from a long, long, long time ago, when we first started teaching our class in Toledo in the evening from 5 to 9, which we'll never do again, Jackie, just forgot Jackie's last name, but she's from the Cleveland area and she sells Shackley products. She is in a BNI and she said, oh my gosh, I just realized that my chiropractor won't make the time to work with me. I thought that he was a partner, a referral partner, because you know we're both very holistic. But the only time I get to see him is when I schedule a time to go in to get an adjustment. I'm not a referral partner. I am a patient. And that was really important for her to understand because she'd been trying to make it work and it was never, ever going to make it work. So we have 6, and I will tell you that all 6 have to be there in order to have a reliable referral partner. So you could even look at all the women that are on the call today, and maybe you don't know all of them, but you could have a one-to-one and have this listing of 6 attributes and say, after the meeting, does this person have all 6 attributes? If not, you want to move on to someone else. It doesn't mean that you're going to forget them forever. it doesn't mean that you're gonna never ever talk to them again. It just means that you'll spend less time with them while you move on to someone else that has the 6 attributes so that you can really work together. So if we, I'm gonna have the ones that need to be there come up. It's going rather slow. Oh, we missed it. Let's go back. So it's great information, but what we want to do now is take a look at who have you been trying to get referrals from, and maybe it's been rather frustrating because it's not working. And or who have you got in your network or your address book or whatever you call it, that you can say, wow, look at this person. They have all 6 attributes. I really want to work and get to know this person even better so that we can work together in the future. So they want to help, they have the resources, they know and have relationships with your targets, they can be educated by you, they will make the time to work with you, and they will make you look so good when you refer them in to your best client. So what I'd like to do is to open up now to questions. I'm going to stop sharing so everyone can see each other. And what questions might you have as a result of what you've heard today?
I just have a comment. It wasn't necessarily on the list, but a situation that I find a lot of times is if you're not working with the business owner or at least the decision maker as to who they can work with. I mean, sometimes, you know, like I'll give you an example. The person in my BNI group that did payroll services, he just left the company. Not that it can't happen, but he left the company and left everybody high and dry for all the referrals they had given. You know, when you're working with the business owner, they typically don't leave the company that way, you know.
So I agree with you totally, Michelle, that it's best to operate at the highest level that you possibly can. Sometimes you can get to the owner, sometimes you can't. And if you have a very high level relationship with someone like that, a payroll person, if you had a relationship with that person and you were meeting him or her on a regular basis, maybe weekly, maybe every other week, probably the relationship would be strong enough so that that person would have let you know, by the way, I'm going to be leaving the company, and let's strategize on how to make sure that all of my referrals are handled in the best way possible. So it's all about the relationship that you're going to establish and help you to establish. So Gail, are you telling me that it's almost time to, are you taking a picture? Got it. Okay. All right. We have about 2 minutes
Actually,
for.
Yeah, right. I was just gonna say, I'm about to tell you it's almost time, but go ahead. Anyone
Debbie,
else?
Debbie, I have a comment on your list.
Yes.
The busiest person I know, I love that because the busiest person I know is on this call. It's Michelle Rip. And the first time I met Michelle, she was telling me about Win. And I said, do you get any referrals from Win? And she said, I can guarantee you that if you don't join, you won't get any referrals. So she's the busiest person I know. I thought I did a lot of networking, but yeah, I mean, I just love working with her as a customer and try to refer people to her. But
okay,
that's the person I know.
So we don't, I mean, I'm glad that you have a good experience with Michelle, but sometimes the busiest person that you know is someone that's going to let you down. And so that's why it's not, you know, one of the 6 that absolutely has to be there. But if you take the 6 and measure them against, and if you're in a BNI chapter, and sometimes it's, you know, like, who should I really align myself with in the chapter? So if you use these 6 attributes and then take a look at the people, you're going to be surprised maybe at the person that you decide to really get to know and that you haven't thought of in the past. I know that
those are power teams, Deb,
yeah.
right?
So it's yes, it can be a power team, or sometimes it's not. So it's just interesting. I would love to give one of my books away today to the person that has the birthday closest to my birthday, which is July 27th. And if you would put your mailing address personally to me into the chat box, I will make sure it gets sent out to you. So who has their birthday closest to July 27th?
Do you have any July birthdays?
Any July birthdays?
Yep, July 2nd.
July 2nd?
Oh, there's a July 25.
Who's July 25?
Melinda.
Melinda?
Melinda, there she is. Yep.
All right,
Melinda,
Melinda,
put your
will
address in the thing.
Will you put your name and address, mailing address, and I will send it out this afternoon to you. Back to you,